Is Draymond playing tonight?
I think so. You're looking sharp tonight, by the way, Logan. What's the occasion? You do have sauce. You do have sauce, whatever that means. I think Draymond's playing. He went through shoot-around, and he should be good to go, but we'll let him warm up and confirm it after that, but should be good to go.
Steve, what went into the decision to have ALEN start in the G League rather than start here and then maybe go down to the G League?
He just needs to play, and he missed all of training camp. I think he got hurt on the second day of training camp, so he hasn't played at all. And he plays the one position where we actually have plenty of depth. So it makes a lot more sense for him to go to Santa Cruz and work his way into shape and get his legs underneath him.
Steve, you've talked about, you want Ky Bowman to stay on this team. We know the two-way situation. Have you guys thought about the avenues to keep him? Do you have a strong sense that you can keep him?
Well, it's pretty early on that front. I mean, the good thing with the two-way contract is that it's binding for the year. So, if we run out of days, which we probably will at some point, we'll have him in Santa Cruz, and then we could bring him back up when the Santa Cruz season ends, and then we would have his rights, or restricted through restricted free agency anyway, this summer. So, we're in a relatively good position in terms of his future, but we'd like to have him on the floor here, playing for us because he's been so effective, and that's going to be tricky just because of the hard cap and the circumstances that we face with the injuries. So right now we're more concerned with counting his days than we are anything else. So we'll try to be careful on this trip. If we have any light practices, I'll probably hold him out so that we don't use a day, so we can buy a few days here or there. And then sometimes things have a way of working out that you don't foresee, and maybe that'll happen. I don't know.
Zach LaVine had a game last weekend where he had 13 threes, but the record for threes made in a game still belongs to Klay, who had 14 against Chicago last season. Just to jog your memory, what do you recall about that night? He at halftime, Klay had 10 threes. He finished with the 14, came out in the third, had the big yellow headband on because he was bleeding when he collided with Damian. But just what do you recall about that night and Klay getting the record?
Well, I remember the floodgates opened up because he had been really struggling before that game. And, he is a few times since I've been here, he's started out slowly in the season, and then obviously, he always turns it around. But that was the game that sort of opened everything up for him. And then the other thought, well, I had a couple thoughts. One thing that got lost was Alfonso McKinney had a career high in front of his whole family, down the street from his house, basically, which was a great thrill for Zoe and for his family. And then I also remember Klay's 14th three was very uncomfortable. We had a big lead, I think late third, and he was searching. He was launching. His teammates all wanted him to get it. It's one of those uncomfortable moments as a coach where you want your player to get a record, but you don't want to do the wrong thing, kind of karma-wise. And it was a little dicey, and I texted Fred Hoiberg after the game, and he was great. But it was just a little. I was relieved when Klay made the last one, and we took him out, and we could move on. But just yet another incredible shooting night from Klay, of which there have been many.
Do you remember if he said anything when he came off the court?
I don't remember. He got the game ball when the game was over, and then we had a team dinner afterwards, and he walked into the dinner with the game ball. So I found that interesting.
Steve, speaking of Klay, you've done your share of TV work over time. Will you tomorrow, or when you get a chance, go back and see how he did during his gig as a sideline reporter?
I'll ask Raymond for the update. I do remember the first time I had to do maybe the only time also I had to do a sideline interview when I was working at TNT. Cheryl Miller couldn't make the game. I think she was sick, and so they had me run over. We were in Portland. I think I was interviewing Vinny Del Negro, and I had to ask him, whatever dull question is asked at the end of the quarter, you're getting beat on the glass, what do you do to fix that? Whatever, one of those questions. And I'm holding the mic, but I'm so uncomfortable that I asked him the question, and then I kept holding the mic like this. I said, what do you think you have to do? He starts answering, and he's over here, and I'm nodding, and the mic is still right here, and the producer's in my ear going, hold the mic in front of Vinny. And I was not asked to do that again, so not surprisingly. Klay will definitely be better than me, more entertaining for sure. Mine was unintentional comedy, I think.
On the same line, Steve, will you do, if he talks to you on the sidelines, will you do a Klay where you give some kind of weird spacey answer and then just turn around and disappear?
It's a good idea. I should think about that. I don't know, does Klay have access to me tonight? That's okay. Maybe we should. Maybe I should ask for that. That might be fun.
Broader question, is it good to have guys like Klay and Steph and these guys around just to kind of remind everybody what this team is and
it's good to have them both
spirit
around.
or what?
Yeah, and when they're around, their presence is felt, and when they do speak up, you can see the ears perk up. These young guys listen to them, and so their voices are important.
Do they talk in the locker room? Like halftime?
Occasionally, yeah, not a ton, but when they do, it's important. Thanks, everybody.